Quentin Tarantino gives us his take on World War II, and wouldn't you know, it's a bloody good time. Hello there to everyone watching, and thank you once again for returning to RealScreenReviews.com. I am, of course, movie critic Nick Iacobucci, and our next movie review is Inglorious Basterds. This graphic wartime film opened in August of 2009, and it stars the on-screen talents of Brad Pitt, Diane Kruger, Eli Roth, Michael Fassbender, and Christoph Waltz. This film comes to us from now legendary filmmaker Quentin Tarantino, and he is of course the man that brought us Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, and Django Unchained from just last Christmas. Okay, this tale tells of the Bastards, or 8 Jewish American soldiers that are dropped behind enemy lines to cause as much havoc and disruptance as they can. Now, they accomplish this goal by beating, shooting, clubbing, stomping, and scalping as many German soldiers as possible. Through all of this, they leave behind themselves a wake of carnage not usually seen by the SS. Brad Pitt is the leader of the Bastards, bringing to life the very charismatic Lieutenant Aldo Raine, and this is one of Brad Pitt's finest hours as an actor. It's not just the mustache or the scar around his neck, and that's because, in my opinion, his presence alone and his mannerisms break into new ground rarely seen by Mr. Pitt. Now, in every single frame of this movie, Brad Pitt pushes his lower jaw out just a little bit, just enough to make himself look different. When you take all of these little characteristics and add them all together, do you know what you get? You get Lieutenant Aldo Raine and not Brad Pitt. He really gives a great performance in this film. Other supporting players include Eli Roth, and he is the director of the Hostel movies, at least I think the first 2 anyway. He steps in front of the camera as Donnie Donowitz, also known as the Bear Jew. Now, I'm not even going to ruin that for anybody because that's just a fantastic scene. Also, Diane Kruger shows up in a very fine performance, and Mike Myers and BJ Novak also deliver quality work as well. I also need to touch base with actress Melanie Laurent and with her character that she brings to life named Shoshana. Shoshana's family is murdered at the beginning of Inglorious Basterds, and after that she barely escapes this tragedy and ends up running a cinema left to her by her deceased aunt and uncle. This is where the movie Nation's Pride is going to debut in the finale of the movie that we're watching, Inglorious Basterds. Melanie Laurent delivers one fantastic performance as Shoshana, and she captures subtleties of both sympathy and vile hatred in one truly great character. When I saw this movie in 2009, I hadn't seen a war movie in quite a while, and this film gives you as much fun and humor as it does violence of war. It is truly a beautiful balance of the 2 genres and mixes them together for one entertaining feature film. Now to the best part of this movie, and it comes in the form of the movie's main villain. All I can say is that sometimes the right actor finds the right role, and sometimes the stars align for something truly extraordinary to be created. That being said, this takes me to Austrian actor Christoph Waltz and his portrayal of Nazi Colonel Hans Landa, who in the feature is known as the Jew Hunter. This was easily the best performance that I had seen in the year of 2009, and the easiest Oscar pick that I had that year as well. There is something magical about Quentin Tarantino's dialogue, and there is something even more magical about the way that Christoph Waltz delivers those lines. This gentleman's performance is nothing short of a triumph. His eerie colonel doesn't come after you with bullets, he comes after you with questions, and once he starts asking them, your heart starts racing and the hairs on the back of your neck will stand straight up. He has truly created one of the greatest movie villains of all time. Now, as with most Tarantino movies, this film's timeline is told in specific chapters, and the best part of those chapters is, of course, the dialogue. Quentin Tarantino has now taken home 2 Academy Awards for writing, and that talent for writing definitely shines through in the movie Inglorious Basterds. For me personally, going to a Tarantino movie is an event, and actually one that I look forward to. I say that because Tarantino's films don't come around very often, and when they do, they're usually pretty memorable. In my opinion, his movies represent everything that is good about filmmaking, and that would be writing, acting, and directing. His films are all character-driven first and explosions and special effects second, and if you think about it, all of his films could have easily been produced 50 years ago. Why? Because they don't require anything but talent to be put together. At 2.5 hours, Inglorious Basterds might be considered long by those that cannot stomach the language and gore, but I do not fall into that category. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie from start to finish, and as I think about it, I really can't find much wrong with it at all. I do have to forewarn people that this is a very bloody and gruesome film with graphic violence and language throughout, and if you didn't know that, then you've never seen a Tarantino film. He has also taken many creative liberties with many historical characters and events, and I would definitely refer to this as a war fable, but an entertaining one nonetheless. Nick's Real Screen Review is a perfect 4 stars out of 4, and that's for Brad Pitt in the gritty and bloody wartime drama known as Inglorious Basterds. Well, I'm afraid that's all the time that I have today, and thank you so much for stopping by. If you have enjoyed this review, please click like below and give me a thumbs up, or subscribe to Real Screen Reviews if you haven't yet already. I know that I'll be returning soon enough with more movie and trailer reviews, and until next time, people, this is Nick Yakabuchi saying I'm not always right, but only when it comes to the movies, and thank you for your attention.